We're about to find out now as we are loading into map number 2.
It is going to be number 2. It's going to be Bank, and it is SSG's choice. So there is every chance that you might just get the maximum amount of entertainment out of this one that we can, which would be going all the way to the 3rd map of Clubhouse. We're going to have Dokabit and Nock taken away as our attacker bands of choice, followed by Echo as the first SSG choice.
I wonder why SSG have banned that against Koi.
I can't imagine. It is such a surprise to me.
Both of these target bans coming in. I mentioned earlier on at the start of Border when we saw the Nook ban coming in there that we are not going to see Nook enabled for crying. He's a demon on that operator. The Echo, for those who haven't watched Koi before, who didn't see them win the Berlin Major, that's because Deepek is an absolute beast playing on Echo. Really good at using it for aggressive purposes, so getting those drones outside the map temporarily, feeding information to the team on exactly where pushes are coming from, or enabling things like jump outs. Also really good at using it around square to enable Spoit. We've seen some beautiful team play from those two players coming around square with the Yokai drones and Spoit, well, doing what Spoit does best, using a gun and pointing it towards the enemy. SSG are going to start on the attack, and Koi on the defense are now starting downstairs to see how things go.
I think Bank is becoming one of my favourite maps to cast and play. I really enjoy Bank.
How come?
I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. I think you've got a couple of different styles of play possible. You know, you've got plenty of room to move around. I'm just finding myself enjoying it more and more. Still not quite up at chalet levels yet.
It's got a bit of work to do to get there.
Yeah, got a little bit of work to do to get chalet, but I do just enjoy the games that we have on Bank. So let's see if this one is as enjoyable as we hope. We've got Spoit up on the top floor. Look at this, he's going for it already. Absolutely no messing about from Koi, wanting to get aggressive, get in the face of SSG. You know, as we heard Meepy suggesting that tactical timeout in the last game, you know, that it's okay in the first 60 seconds or so, get aggressive, see if you can get that pick, and then just fall back and force them to play.
Exactly that. And I think when the map's this big, the same as you kind of saw on Border, you want to be playing around as much as the map as you can. Admittedly, SSG were far better at that on the defensive side, I thought, than what Koi were. But Koi feel a little more cozy here already from the way things are starting to shape up. Quite spread out across the map, got themselves in multiple places, ready to greet SSG on the entry into the building. And SSG, for now, at least looking to play things pretty staple as well. Up on those windows, looking to get in the top floor, clear your way down before you start executing inside the basement. The big challenge is going to be time, though, Tim. We've already caught a couple of times in this map, or in this series, sorry, that SSG haven't been the best with the clock.
No, sometimes just running a little bit late, you know, very keen to get that diffuser down, you know, not always looking at the alternative ways of getting the rounds won. Kanto is going to finish Fultz off there, taking the last of his health that was remaining, drops down, can he get himself a second? Kanto had a very nice double towards the end of the last round, and he's certainly picking up where he left off here on Bank.
I was going to say, the timing in there of him to turn away and then get killed by the drop would have been ridiculous. But so far, we've had the members of SSG, the two of them, walk into crossfires set up by different members of Koi, and they've then moved and dropped away. It's like boxing shadows. It's simply not going to work. Good stuff from Koi to control the map so far. SSG now starting to look at getting inside of the basement, but in a 3v5, it's feeling a little bit ropey, Tim.
Well, this is exactly what Meepy spoke about. You know, get up in their faces, first minute or so, get yourself a kill or two, and then Koi, they've just dropped themselves back to site, and they leave SSG with 3 members trying to get some sort of execute built, because they're not going to win this any other way. You know, they're going to almost certainly have to put that diffuser down. Look, you've got the Valkyrie all the way back in gold bars there, just sitting on the cams, feeding the information. I love this from Koi.
It's a good start. Absolutely a really good start. Much better and more composed than what we saw before. SSG trying to see how exactly they can pin together an attack. They've got a lot of drones still left on the field. In fact, it's rare to see all 3 players this late into the round to have all of their drones still available and out on the field. No doubt some of them sat out on the flank, watching for potential flank players coming out of Koi, but otherwise it is information on the site they have at their disposal to make this work. 2 flashes coming out, a drop into sight from Bosco, and he's going straight in from a plant, ignoring the word go and just passing straight in towards sight. Do they know this plant's going down? I don't think they knew, Tim. I think Koi had no idea this was going down, but now they do. It's a flawless first round. Koi in full control.
I think whether they knew about it or not, it didn't really matter too much. If Bosco does get that plant down, he can do whatever he wants, really. He's unlikely to cover it for the rest of the thing. He's 1v5, even if he gets up, gets on a hatch, he's not going to hold on to that.
Yep. Really good start, though. And again, for SSG, probably a little bit of work to do in the earlier round. And this is, I think, also something we heard them comment on before, is the players are playing a little bit individual. They're going for those small 1v1 gunfights. We saw it there, where there was a bit of crouch walking in through open, for example. The player coming in through copy was very much alone. clearly the intent was for the two of them to sync up, but it just sort of fell apart from there. So almost kind of feedback that we heard from a couple of teams yesterday to be willing to change the plan when it isn't working out. Maybe it's a good idea to regroup here, push forward more as a team when things don't work out in that spot. But it was only the first round. We now go up onto the ground floor for open area and staff room.
Kai, you're going to be feeling confident, I think, after that first round. And the thing is, the bit that worked really well for them was the couple of kills that came in and around the map. Kanto up on top floor and then Crying on mid floor. And they can just do more of the same here. So SSG have got to find an answer to that, because we're going to have a top floor presence once again from Kai. They're going to be looking for the same sort of engagements in the first 60 seconds. And if they come out in the same direction, SSG could find themselves falling behind here. And at one map down on their own map choice, that's really the last place they want to be.
It absolutely is. Although I do think it could be really interesting to see how the second half goes. We saw, you know, all these problems for Koi in the first half of Border. We then changed sides and saw SSG, you know, having similar issues as well for the most part, evidently by the ending map results. So 30 seconds in, SSG getting themselves shaped up here for what looks to be a good start. 2 off on the rappel, 1 out towards ATMs. So largely a grouping up towards the north and the northwest. You've got 1 trying to push in through square as well. In fact, make it 3 coming in through here. Who did I see over towards ATMs then? I'm so lost. Can we go left a little bit more? Did I see anyone at ATMs? Yeah, I did. There we go. Okay, it was Yeti, sorry. So it was 2 coming in, 3 coming in over the top to push their way through. And then, in fact, I know exactly what's happened. 1 on ATMs, 2 coming in on the north windows. I saw 3 going in through square, but 1 was the Yana clone.
Hit it again.
Baiting the casters, not just the players in game. Wonderful.
Fultz just trying to work that, again, rooftop angle, but Crying is going to be one to pick up the opening kill onto Hotton. And it's going to be a trade as Bosco manages to get one onto Spite as well, 4v4 then, but Crying's still active up on the top floor. There is information on him, the yellow ping's coming out, he's going to drop himself away, probably the right answer. Kanto playing underneath, does have Nitro in hand, as does Crying. So a lot of explosives when you add in the impact nades as well, and it's something that SSG need to be aware of. They can't just play for free, as it were, up on the top floor.
Absolutely not. 4v4 though, and I think you'll be very happy with Koi. The more you're bringing those numbers down, the more utility you're taking off the board, more big guns are being taken away. Bosco, the main one here on the upstairs, will be doing some work though. No need for a sledge when you have the book on side instead. Of course, if you wanted those frag grenades, then normally it would be great, but here preferring the range safety offered by the skeleton key along with the hard breach gadgets, just to get through any would-be hatches that need to be opened up if the ace were to go down.
Still 4 versus 4, 1 minute left to go, and Kai basically continuing with their plan of play slowly, frustrate SSG, force them into those last second executes, and we're going to have the Nitro going off there from Kanto. Not going to be successful, and he's going to take the opportunity to dip away and get himself back in towards site. Times it perfectly as the pressure does start coming in from main lobby. 40 seconds left to go, and Kanto's got an opportunity for the vertical fight, but can't find the kill. He's going to be taken down in numbers, but 30 seconds left to go, and SSG still need to get inside.
It's again one of those where it feels scrappy up until the last second, but nothing's really come of the back of that. They've got their kill, and they're now got to get themselves still to try and push down on these last 2 members. They knew about the player on Marble, the drone confirms it, and now Bosco's got himself an angle held out. But they've got to push inside a site for 1. They've got to have 1 player commit to getting the diffuser down, and they've got 10 seconds. There is so much room for things to go wrong, Tim.
There really is. Crying's going to pop up on the flank at any point here. Bosco getting the diffuser down, 2 kills inside a site, and surely this is it. Yeti is holding. They're going to start gunning down.
Brilliant.
There you go, Maestro Cam with the denial.
I don't need echo.
I don't need echo. I don't need echo.
Running away. Where are you going, pussy? What's he holding? What's he holding? Scared of an evil eye. Look, guys, hey, later, mate. Nice.
Defect's normally so quiet and calm.
Well, that's what we see. You see, now we're getting the in-game comms.
Now we're getting the real in-game comms. I love it. And already, Tim, tactical timeout coming in from SSG after just 2 rounds.
The thing is that...
Planted in less than 10. Like, these guys, their whole game plan is they want us to get in the building, and we're taking too long. All right, we just need to make sure, like, let's get some, like, a little bit extra forward, moving forward. If you find like a way to get in, like they were nowhere to go, and like CEO and stuff like that from the basement. Like, let's take that initiative. Let's get in there. Like, there are spots that are free. We need to be taking care of it and going faster.
Do you think we just get me and Fulton, just double drone me and Fulton, we just start taking map control?
I think we could definitely do that. I think we could.
I'm playing globals.
Well, let's work in nest 2 too.
Okay, well, yeah, next time they're bottom, we'll do that.
Honestly, bro, you could probably intro with a line too. Okay. Just help say. Actually, no, I can't. Just have no time.
What? Somebody else needs to do it.
Yeah, I can't help but feel a little bit... I feel bad saying this because Lycan's like one of my favourite people in the scene. I love him to bits, but that felt like very empty advice. You know, we've got to go faster. We've got to like stop being slow. We've got to go faster. But we've got to be careful because they want us to get in faster. So it's kind of contradicting advice coming out to some level there. And I like that we had Rampy step up and go, hey, should we just double drone us in and make this happen? That's the kind
specific,
of like,
yeah.
That's it. It's a specific action, something we can materially change rather than giving some kind of like, you know, sage wisdom that doesn't really tell you what to do. Like, the boys need a bit of guidance there. I do agree, you know, they are being really slow. They're crouch walking in. They're keeping it real nice and slow. Koi getting crossfires, picking them off one by one. I do agree there's got to be more explosiveness in there, but you are playing into Koi's game there if you do try and play that playstyle. So just a little, you know, maybe trying to play off that drone play like they were saying is the go-to here, and I'm curious to see if it works out, but I don't know, Koi just very happy to keep on picking at you whenever you trip, and here we go. 1, 2, no! Doesn't get the second. Whiffs the shots a little bit there. Leon and Bosco collecting himself a kill with that Claymore, but losing half HP for the privilege.
It's not the end of the world for Koi.
Well, it is, because I mean, the game plan for SSG was Rampy to get droned in. That can't happen.
That's what I mean, exactly that. You know, you've just come out of a tactical timeout. Right, shall I get droned in with Fulch? Yeah, absolutely, let's do that. Right, I'm dead 10 seconds in. It's accidental almost from Koi. They were going for the jump out. You know, they don't know what the game plan is coming from SSG, but it just works out perfectly for them. We're going to have the stock shield just taken out of position. That's going to be the Rotero drone clearing that one down. Spike's not going anywhere immediately. He's still looking to continue his fight there for the time being until he is absolutely forced away.
I think it was a really good read from Koi as well strategically here. The read that, you know, SSG have taken the tactical timeout. Clearly they've got a plan in mind. How can we upset a plan? We jump out, we kill a couple of players, we upset whatever they've agreed are going to be the next steps they're coming into. I just think it was actually quite smart from Koi there to make such a risky call that ultimately has paid dividends there, because as you said, the man who was making the call, hey, we should drone us in and make this work, one of those two is now gone. Fult's going to be the main boy to drone in, but he is playing on the Flores, which means he's got to get through those Roteros first. Ergo, we're having another very slow round from SSG. Exactly what Koi wanted and exactly what SSG did not want.
Yes, he's on a big flank here, and I'm not sure that Koi are aware of this. He could have an absolute field day depending how the movement in sight goes. They're going to have to be very careful, but yeah, absolutely no idea that they've got somebody on the rear side. Spite is fighting with the man inside of stock, shut down by Fultz, and that might give an opportunity for Yeti to start moving in. It's exactly what happens. This is good from SSG as Bosco finds Deepak, and now Kanto, he's the one, manages to shut down Yeti, reclaim that side of the site at least, and we're in a 2v3, 55 seconds, but SSG, they've got the time that they need.
Problem is they've only really got Kanto on site. I was going to say Crying downstairs hasn't got a massive impact with no C4 in back pocket, but he's moved his way up, leaving Kanto in a 1 versus 2. Does he have a read on where these players are? Yes, he does, but has given himself away in the process. Plant going down here with about 40 seconds still to play. Looking good for SSG.
It certainly is. Kanto's going to move forward, see if he can stop this plant going down. He might not know that it's actually happening at the minute. He's just going to pepper across the heads, but with low health and the UMP, he might not be in an ideal position at such long range to make this happen. Bosco, hot and cold, might have just got away with a little bit of a robbery here and got in, got out, and got the job done. They're going to hold their position out of the window. Hot and cold, job done. Manages to survive the few bullets that Kanto can land, and having that power position on the rappel is likely to be the end of this. Bosco, he manages to close out the final kill, and SSG after that tactical timeout, whilst it might not have been exactly what they described, still get the first round won.
I think that might be our play.
Start freaking the F out, that might be the play, according to Yeti. No, but even with it being such a good start, it's really unfortunate Leon couldn't complete that second there. The animation of the rappel, I think, threw him off a little bit as to where the head position was. And to some level, I thought Kanto might be able to pull that out, that 1v2, given no one was outside. They couldn't get back on the rappel because they were worried about the cross coming in from Kanto. Made the play, got outside, and as you say, job done. Round was basically over from there. Really good from SSG, having a bit of decisiveness in the last 60 seconds and catching Koi off guard.
Going to be going back down to the basement this time around. Lockers and CCTV. It was the site that we saw them win back in round 1. They've been through a full cycle. It's been down in the basement. It's been open and staff. The thing is, Koi probably don't really mind too much there. You know, it was the third choice site up on top floor. It may be one that they know that they're only going to win maybe 50% of the time. So if they're confident in getting these two locked out, they get basement again, they get open and staff again, they can have another roll of the dice top floor. Maybe they win it that time and they're still on a 5 5-1. You know, they're probably not too rattled at this point.
I wouldn't imagine so. If that frost mat catches someone, I'm buying Leon a beer later. Straight under the hatch.
Also got all the entries so far of Koi. I love that.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's not actually the baddest. It's the baddest. It's not actually the worst idea.
Not the baddest idea.
When a hatch gets opened, obviously a load of debris drops and does partially cover the frost mats.
You'd hope, though, given how diligent SSG have been with their drone work, they would find out about those before they just go charging down. And there it is, yet again. I mean, yes, he's got in nice and rapid there. I like the pace at which he's moving, but here we go. Look, kills back and forth. Spoit losing out to Hot and Cold. A little bit of shit damage onto the Ying. If he'd found that Ying for me, round over. Candela's gone. Hard Breach gone. You've only got the exothermics on side. You can get 2 of the 5 hatches. It would have been lights out for SSG.
Crane and Kanto have got a bit of a decision to make now. They're the players that have been up on the top floor. Decision has been made. They're both back to site. It's very quick, though, was my point. They managed to get that opening kill, but it was at about 40 seconds into the round that SSG was starting to swarm in, and I wondered, you had Kanto at the top of blue, you had Crying on marble stairs, and I just thought, are they going to stick around? Are they going to overstay their welcome, or do they drop back and just try to turtle up? And it is the secondary choice there, but that does sort of play into SSG. You know, they said in that tactical timeout, we want to get in there quicker, we want to take space, we want to make sure that we're getting map control so that we've got time to be able to execute, to be able to push forward further onto site. And right now, they've got an absolute age in front of them.
They have 90 seconds to play, a stack of utility still in their back pockets, grenades galore that they can send charging on in, and they've got the vertical control as well. So all is lining up well for what they need. They are going to have to play through a couple of C4s, mind you. There are, of course, no smoke canisters to come out. So I like how this is setting up for SSG. Knowing they've got this much time to go, they should be able to make this work. In come the Candelas.
Just time to try and execute. You know, they've got to make sure that they're in sync when this utility's coming in. They don't want to be throwing Candelas and doing nothing on the back of it. They're going to have the nades going out. Bosco will start the first attempt at the plant. He may well be pushed off by utility. C4 comes out. He will be pushed off completely. Usually you would have somebody dip away when they hear that C4 rip, but Bosco had been so far into the plant that he decided to try and stick it. 3 versus 3. 1 nitro left in hand.
That's the problem, right? It's that nitro that's still in back pocket, and I think if Hot and Cold dies here, there's no one else around to step up and make... Okay, I lied. Iana's right behind him. I thought she was still upstairs. Another C4 comes out. Should be another kill. Doesn't even catch the planter. It catches Fultz instead. Hot and Cold's going to try again, getting his booty just back in through the breach, holding down F, and Rampy has got a hero's job to do here to stop this. One runs in front. He can't quite hold it out. Koi close out comfortably. You know what was missing? Smokes. They had so much on their side there. They had the nades, they had the flashes, they had 4 members, had the vertical control, had the Candelas, but without the smokes, did not have safe passage for the planter.
Reset.
Part of the problem here is watch Fultz. Watch Fultz. It's a small mistake, but it's a mistake nonetheless. The nitro is coming out. SSG know that because the planter steps up and starts to run away. They were trying to bait that C4. That was the whole play. So for Fultz to push up at that point, there may have been a reason for it. Maybe he was, you know, changing his angle. Maybe he saw an opportunity for a kill. But for him to push forward at that point, he was just sending himself into the danger zone.
Small things sometimes, Tim. Small things can have a big impact, as you just saw there. 1 death really meaning they had nothing left when it came round to the cover. Relying solely on Rampy up on the hatch, and you can't do it all against 3 players of Koi, who are jumping all over you like a rash. Let's go for round 5 then. Koi up 3-1 and very comfortable here on Bank, Tim. It feels like a bit of a different story to what we saw back on Border.
It does. I'll add a sort of an asterisk onto that to say, you know, I think we will see a better second half out of SSG.
I agree.
Once you get them on the defence, but the problem for them is, you know, when you're thinking a wider scale of the tournament, if you've got a problem attacking, which, you know, it does seem that SSG do at the minute, particularly with regards to pace, which is actually a shame, Des, because that last round was really quick to begin with. They got themselves in, they got map control just as they said they wanted to.
Yes, he got shagged by Crying.
And then it was the end of things that they just couldn't get it done. But yeah, SSG just struggling on the side. It's something that they definitely need to work on for longevity in the tournament.
I love how they got 6 claymores Claymores on side, by the way. 6 Claymores!
Thanks, Leon.
Not even just leaning into things like the zero cams either, but actually making sure there is an active explosive deterrent towards the attackers trying to get too aggressive. I like it in the sense of if you take fast map control and then get Claymores down behind you, it's going to work out. But you do have to be mindful of things then like impacts that can clear those out and then let the defenders come charging through and play on the flank. Here it feels a lot like Spoit's trying to do that, who, by the way, is 0 and 3 on this map. It's classic duality of the entry fraggers there. 14 and 6 on the last map, 0 and 3 here so far, but his team is still in the lead, and that is all that counts.
Yeah, it's just how it goes. And the thing is, you might
the drone rolls, Tim.
You might hit his the drone rolls. You might well put Spoit on attack and see a different a different beast coming forward then, and he may well start picking those kills up when he's got the drones in front of him and he's going in with information. It may well just be a defensive thing. For the time being, the Thatcher is going to clear out the Electroclaws. They're going to be reapplied. We'll see.
Where are the Bosco? Hello? Bosco? What is that timing? What?
I'm concerned by that, Des.
I am perplexed, Tim. I am mind-boggled. I am many things. I am quite confident that SSG are going to lose this round. Here comes Yeti in a 1 versus 2, has at least equalised things to some degree, but has got to try and find these last two. And you know what Spoit and Kanto are going to be like, the two entries coming in for this team. They're going to dip away and try and keep themselves busy. Yeti does indeed have the diffuser and may have a possibility to get it down here unnoticed by the side of Koi. Do they respond? There should be one up towards the right-hand side. Yep. Looks like they do indeed know. One inside of admin, one out by bleepers. So they know what it is that Yeti is looking to do and should be able to get this one shut out unless he can isolate 2 separate 1v1s.
Yeah, there's no way that they peak this, or there's no way that they should. They're going to force him into a plant. They can just keep burning time. Yeti might actually stick this, and it's a good play if he does, but they know it's nice. They know exactly where he is. They're going to come around the corner and likely get the kill. They're on side. There you go. There was an opportunity for... I know I sounded a bit underwhelmed there. There was an opportunity for Yeti, but I'd already seen Kanto's movement coming on the rotation behind him. Without a serious mistake there, there's no way that Koi lose that, because they are 180 degrees on opposite sides of Yeti. So as good as Yeti is, there's no way that he generally picks up both of those kills. It's going to be tough. It was a good round from Koi. They were on top of it, but there was big mistakes from SSG. I don't know what happened with that Thatcher. I don't know what happened with that.
That's a classic mistiming, I think, where maybe Bosco had said he was looking to move to get the wall open and then tossed in the EMP thinking he was ready.
It was when he threw the Selma, but you could see the electricity on the wall.
That's it.
And he still threw it in there. I was like, no!
The thing is, SSG aren't normally the ones that are responsible for messing up timing. Well, they are responsible when they do it, but they're not ones known for constantly messing up timing. You'll allow the one mistake. It's just unfortunate that it's come at a time when you're down 3 and 1, and you really need to get a round going in your favour. Koi it feels largely that they're being unchallenged so far. They've been very, very comfortable on the map. They haven't had to do too much movement. Sure, there's been the occasional bit of movement on the top floor from players like Spoit, the jump out coming out of Leon. Otherwise, it's trying to get aggressive. Holding Marble Stairs is trying and getting the entry onto Yeti. They just feel largely unbothered or unsurprised by what SSG are bringing to the table.
Last defensive round for Koi. It's going to be up on the top floor. It's the one that SSG won last time. They won it pretty well, actually. Yeti managed to get himself up main stairs. Nice flank. They had a plant by the end of things. It was a much better round for them, so they're going to be hoping that they can get the same done again and bring themselves to 4-2. To be honest, I look at the last map, Des, and I think, Koi were in this position. They managed to snatch a 4-2. They were lucky to do it, and they managed to come back and win the map. So there's no reason SSG can't do this.
Exactly that. I'm always the first person that normally jumps when we're casting EUL to say, look, a team might be up 5-0 or 5-1 or whatever. Wait until the second half. We've seen crazier things. We've seen format swings back the other way. I want to say it was Sandbox coming up against, maybe it was Team 1 for the map 8-6. It happens. You can't just count on one side and go, that's 100% reflective of what's going to happen on the other, unless literally 0 gunfights are being won. But at least SSG are finding the odd gunfight going their way. They have had some sparks of brilliance. It isn't all over by any means. Hot and Cold burning his way through and quite literally burning his own retinas out there with the flashbands coming in as they're trying to unsettle who I imagine it's going to be Spoits. Yes, it is. Holding behind the shield. 0 and 4 so far, by the way.
I'm interested to know if there's any utility on the sort of main stairs from main lobby that Yeti was able to just walk up for free last time. There's no prox alarms being brought along. There is a bulletproof camera, but that's going to be about all, but I'm not sure exactly where that's positioned. I didn't see it get placed. So there's the potential there for somebody to just just walk up those stairs again. Kanto is playing in that position, but he didn't hear that happening last time, and it may well be that it can be exploited. It doesn't look like SSG are going to be trying for that for the time being. We've got at least 3 players out in front of us trying to work around square at the minute, and we've got Rampy on the rappel as well.
Just sit and wait. Just sit and wait, boys. As Meepy said, they are a certain word that begins with P. They're going to play this nice and slow. You don't need to stress out too much. That's what Koi are waiting for, but there's a push coming up towards Janitor as well here that might result in a kill for SSG, as Leon's going to burn out to the fire. That's a bit of a slip-up.
That's pretty big, but again, the timing is a little bit off for SSG here. They were supposed to go in under that cover of smoke to get the diffuser down. Bosco has now died in the middle of sight, and that is the case down cold. They're going to have to go in. They're going to have to get it back. Rampy is able to do that. He's going to start going nice and easy. Bulletproof cam. Deepak's going to be able to take down Rampy. That drops the diffuser down again. 30 seconds left to go. Fultz recovers, but they're going to have to get it down.
Hot and Cold finds at least one more to keep the things on SSG side. 3 versus 2, but those last 20 seconds could be also horrible. Cryan, who's at 10 and 3, finds himself put down to a slither of HP. 1 more rounds, but he gets the shots that he needs. 1 finished off, still 2 more standing, and this is where SSG might have to force themselves here into a temporary 1 versus 2. Fultz pulls off, Deepak finds 1, Cryan into yet another on 1 HP, and makes it an almost perfect half for Koi, 5 and 1.
You guys are too good for me.
What a great round. They're right to be excited.
Remember what I said on this half? We play together, we play stupid, okay? I don't care how we do it together.
That is Koi summarised.
The energy's completely different to the first half of Border. You know, like you said,
they were so
they're
flat.
very quiet, so flat, and now they're picking it up. And it just goes to show in the performance, because that was a nice defence. It wasn't perfect. There were opportunities for SSG again. Again, I'd question the timing. I'd have to watch it back. I don't want to be overly critical, but the smokes go in, the Selma charge goes off on the wall, and everything's dissipated by the time Bosco's going in to get the diffuser down, so he just gets shot in the middle of sight. So then they're in this constant loop of Rampy has to go in and get the diffuser, gets shot in the middle of sight. Fultz has to go in and get the diffuser, doesn't that time get shot, but ultimately the position just keeps changing, and Koi, they had to battle. It wasn't straightforward. SSG did well and got a couple of good kills, but Koi were able to respond.
I just love the Leon statement. Play stupid, pick Blackbeard, pick us, that's totally fine. We can do whatever we want. But again, this is where this team have always done well, I've observed, is when their energy is high, that's when they're at their best, when they're talking to each other, when they're gassed up to go and find those kills and get those gunfights. That's when they look at their best. I know I keep on pointing it out, by the way. I'm not at all trying to like drab on him here because he plays fantastic all the time. The fact that Spoit is 0 and 5 and his team are 5 and 1 just shows how much others have stepped up around him as well. He's gone quiet, Cryan's going massive at 12 and 4. Kanto's had some great rounds as well. On the other side for SSG, no one's pushed past 5 kills yet.
That's the combo. That's the big combo for Koi is Cryan and Spoit. You know, as long as one of them is stepping up,
Cryan's big brother.
You're pretty much all right.
I call him Daddy. What?
Cryan is. He seems to get bigger every event we come to.
He does.
I saw the photographs of him before this one started.
Some of the days, like, he's clearly on roids, and I was like, I don't know. The guy's pretty committed to his workout.
Oh, he's always, you know, he's.
I mean, that is what a bait. What a bait. Oh, this is filth. Why? Ossa and Blackbeard stacked together?
Disgusting.
He said play stupid, but this is cheesy. I love it.
Just can't quite get down the side of that bulletproof camera there to take it out. Just needs to be careful. Spoit low health now. If they keep popping these body shots in, eventually it is going to do the job.
He didn't even get the shield. There's another one, but a smoke comes out and tickles Spoit. The tiniest little bit there. I think that bulletproof is still intact as well. But they've thrown a lot of their utility down ramp there to try and force these players away. Both shields are still standing, and the problem is, Tim, even if no one's playing behind them, it's the threat of the attackers retaking those positions, getting in behind the shields and using them against you that helps divide this site in half. You get a wonderful line of sight that goes straight up through one of the sites, right down through the corridor, through the double door, back down garage ramp, and it can be really oppressive as a defender to be able to successfully move between sites when that's in the way.
Hot going to drop the hatch, get himself underneath.
Deepak on Iana. What a world.
Across. But SSG largely forced back to site at this point. So not terrible progress from Koi, but maybe just a little bit of time issues at the minute. They've got diffuser in hand inside of open area, but obviously it's not going to be immediately the position they want to be in to get that plant down.
Here we go. Ramp is holding tight.
Bomb located by
Once again, Caster was baited out by Gemini. The thing is, I play so much Iana, you think I'd be used to it, but I'm not. I'm just not. I'm lost.
Spite, he's going to be creeping his way up here. I think he knows where Rampy is positioned. Bosco's going to take a lot of damage there, probably from a nade, I would imagine. And we're coming into the final 19 seconds. It's time for Kai to think about executing. Spite just trying to get something going. There's a big couple of kills for SSG, though, making a third as Rampy steps up and finds Crying. 7 seconds left to go, and I think we're seeing the difference that I suggested we might. SSG with a solid defense there, and looking a little bit more comfortable on bank in the second half than they did in the first.
8 strong together, Koi, but clearly not strong enough. SSG holding firm, holding resolute. It's the first round there in which they've looked, the most convincing on this map. Of course, they had the 1 win back in the first half, but it was a little bit ropey at points. Here, at least, things should start building up well. We'll see how the next round goes. I do like the idea from Koi in terms of the abuse, is the only way I can describe it. The Blackbeard and the Ossa coming in together. Just so much bulletproof utility coming through there that makes it an absolute nightmare against anyone that can shoot. But you saw the main weakness of it. They had no real tools or utility to actually get themselves control of the site or the periphery to it, or the perimeter to it, sorry, at the same time. They had no smokes, no real flashes to come out. So we left a little bit high and dry there in the last 20 seconds, but you'll forgive them for that. Let's see how things change it going into this round. Spoit is back over onto the Iana.
The big difference here is Kai won one of their third choice sites, so now SSG are in a bit of a difficult position. They've not only got to win their primaries, they've got to pick up at least one tertiary site win. They're going up to the top floor. This was the third choice site for Kai. We'll see if SSG can hold on to this one.
Absolutely, looking at the utility coming out, that's a hell of a lot of impact. It's almost like they're expecting to see this coming through once again. Either that or they're looking to play a tricking game, which I don't think they are. No doubt, knowing Koi, there will be some window play here as well, making use of the smokes coming out of Kanto. The smoke bolt's very, very valuable, for example, blocking out Janitor entirely. And with Deepek on the Amaru, I can't help but feel we're in for a little bit of a cheeky surprise at some point, Tim.
See, I love a late Amaru player. I've said this plenty of times before.
I don't expect a rush, no.
No, we quite often see him used to go up the hatch, get the diffuse down, or zipping through a window at the beginning of the round. It's sometimes really effective in the last 15 seconds. Everybody's focused on where the execute's going down, and then Amaru just blasts through a window. And it can be, really, really effective at the end of the round. So, as you said, we'll keep an eye on Deepek. It's not unusual for Deepek to play Amaru, to be fair, and doesn't always utilise the Gara hook. It's not always the purpose, of it. You've got the flashbang, he's got a good gun, and that's
several good guns.
So exactly that, plenty of choice.
Yeah.
So sometimes it is more about that. Crying, he's going to continue his reign of terror. Here
we go, Gara hooks out.
A kill onto Fultz, and it's time for Deepek.
In he comes as well, hopefully in behind the smokes as well. Gets rid of the black guy straight away, but gets sprayed through and taken down. Crying's there for the trade, but someone's going to have to step into Deepek's grave here, pick up the diffuser, and get it stuck back down. It's 4v3 for Koi, and they might just say, boys, forget about the diffuser, let's just kill him.
It might be time to play that way. Yeti just trying to hold down with the TCSG from stock, but he's going to come face to face with Spite pretty soon, I think. Spite's going to look to push this angle at some point, I'd imagine. Like you said, diffuser down in sight, nobody's really posturing or positioning to go in and pick that up. So it is going to come down to gunfights. Leon manages to find Rampy. That's a big start for Kai. If they get this round here, Des, SSG are in serious trouble.
What can they do here to hold on against the onslaught of 4 players with 60 seconds still on the clock? One given away as well. Gemini being taken out is that information gathering tool essentially for the side of Koi. Yes, he's got a lot to try and do by himself as he manoeuvres his way back in towards site, being mindful of the window, but it's main stairs being challenged out.
Santos actually just got himself into sight. He's going to collect the diffuser, but he will be taken down by Bosco in a big double. Leon manages to get in. It's all up to Bosco. It's 1v2, and there's a lot of time here, Des. We know that he can do it. He's got the ability. He's the Bosco. Is he going to be able to lock it down this time, though? He's already dropped the diffuser down once when Kanto came in. He's just now trying to create some sort of castle, some sort of fortress for himself.
Some bastion, architect of the site here.
He's got the diffuser.
He is on it. They've got to fight. They've got to kill him realistically. They can't get the diffuser without killing him, so it will end in kills here. But timing is the thing, and Spoit, I know he's had a quiet map, but he doesn't miss those.
Let's go, boys. Crying as well. Unreal.
Good refract on the one.
See, that's leadership.
That's what you want.
Gas your boys up, get them excited. I love it.
Exactly that. Deepak and Kanto were unfortunately unable to get the diffuser down, but Koi aren't going to mind that in the slightest. It was unlucky for Bosco. He got in there and he kept putting that diffuser on the ground, and then he tried to play it. He had it, you know, next to him, and if he could have just held on to his position for a little bit longer, maybe the round goes differently. But he was going up against one of the best gunners in EUL and probably in the world at the minute, so it was never going to be an easy fight for him. Koi put themselves onto map and series point 6-2, and SSG, they are backs to the wall, Des. They've got a big problem here.
The really exciting one really is when you start thinking about the implications of this on the group, because boy, if they win this 2-0, they move to 9 points. The only team ahead of them is W7M on 11. And have a wonderful guess at who they play against tomorrow. Koi come up against W7M as the last game of this group. It is literally a fight for first place at that point. Whoever wins takes all the biscuits. They get to finish in first place, they get the bye in the upper bracket of the next round. It's an absolute dream. That is going to be a really good series as long as we get Bank Koi and not Border Koi.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of that. I like the idea of W7M being put under some pressure.
Yeah.
I was saying this earlier about the Sonics as well. You know, rarely do teams come into a tournament and just win everything from day one all the way through and win the final. You know, they usually have a period of adversity, and they want to get it out of the way at the right time, essentially. You know, you don't want it to come in the semi-final where you lose. There's 2 exceptions that I can think of off the top of my head, and that was FaZe winning the Sweden Major, and also in November 21. And SSG at SI 2020. Yeah. They're the 2 teams really that have been able to go through without any significant losses to win a major tournament. But obviously, you know, there's been 10 tournaments in that time. We've got a rush coming in, and they are certainly playing silly, Des.
They are playing silly. I mean, Leon's almost gone down. He's got the light screens on side. Kanto finds one. Oh, a plant was almost going in, but it's been shut down at the last second. There's 3 kills that have come back, though. Either team going at each other into a 3 versus 3. Still with one more light screen on side, but outside of that, that's pretty much all we've got to work with on the side of Koi.
Bosco's having absolutely none of it. You know, obviously I joke about them playing silly. You don't begrudge them at this point. They're 6-2 up, and Russia's work. You know, sometimes they will just get the job done, and it may well still pay off. And Spite gets a big double, and it is all up to Yeti to keep SSG fighting here in Bank to keep them in this one. It could be a very quick 2-0 for Koi.
It's feeling like it's going that way. Spite taking up the mantle of the diffuser here and looking to get the plant down. It's Yeti all by himself. Leon gets the closing kill. A dominant show on Bank by Koi. Again, one of their top maps as well. They shine bright and take all 4 points.
What a performance from Koi on Bank particularly. That was the map choice of SSG. SSG took Koi all the way on Border, but then just could not perform on their own playground.
We did have better attacks. Yeah, but another map. Holy shit. We did on both maps, Steve. What do we want to do?
Obviously some muted faces as well on the side of SSG, as well as voices. They still have 1 game to play against G2, but they currently sit in 4th place.